straight out from that, the pinky red path is an Anzac Parade. And these are the axes he used, you're right. Straight through in front of that, the big dome going up, that is Capitol Hill and Parliament House. The white building in front of that is Old Parliament House. So a new Parliament House is actually built into the hill. And then the axes that I was talking about, if you have a look at the city area here and all the build up, that is all in a circular pattern. The roads just go round and round in a circle. And then the trunk that comes down and joins up with Anzac Parade down here. So it all forms a big triangle. And then the inner triangle, that is called the Parliamentary Triangle, is, can you see the lake going through the middle here? This is Lake Burley Griffin. And then as Parliament House spreads out to each side, there's two bridges that cross the lake. Well, that is the Parliamentary Triangle. Everything inside that part of Parliament House and the lake is the Parliamentary Triangle. You've got the National Gallery in there that we're going to. We also, I'll show you what else we've got. Can everybody see the orange dome out in the middle of the lake there? It's going up and over. That's the National Museum. We did do that on our tour. Now we've just changed that to the National Gallery. This is the first time I've done this tour. It's one of the first ones we've run with the gallery instead of the museum, but the gallery is very impressive. It's had a new big expansion plan going on, so it should be interesting. The Duntroon Military Academy is over here. This whole big body of land over here out towards the airport, and all of these other big buildings you can see straight through here. There's some high rises, very plain looking high rises. That is the sort of Australia's version of the Pentagon, the Ministry of Defence. Black Mountain is, where is it? Oh, it's over here a little bit further. It's got a massive Telstra aerial on it. If you walk up the top you'll be able to see it. But that's it, folks. I'll leave you to look around. Scrivener Dam is all the way to the far at about 2 o'clock at the other end of the lake, and that's where the dam was blocked up to form the lake. I'll let you have a look around.
Brilliant. So this is all how this here is.
Folks, you can see Black Mountain.
Er is echt goed voor in de mitte. En als je stukken nader in de mitte doen. Ja. Ja, dann machst du es gleich auch noch.
Oh, we'll be down the mountain in 5 minutes.
Okay, so we'll just
We'll be down soon. So folks, just less than 5 more minutes and we'll make our way back to the coach and go down.
Now this is considered to be one of the best war memorials in the whole world, and I'm going to take you through fairly quickly, hoping I can show you as much as possible, but I'm afraid it's a very tight schedule that we've got today. So we'll go inside and we'll start with the courtyard and the remembrance. He had been the official war historian, and it was his idea that we should have something like that. I'm sure Clayton told you about Walter Burley Griffin, who designed the city of Canberra. Always the war memorial to be at the bottom of our landscape, on the axis of the whole city. So we look straight down Anzac Parade towards the 2 Parliament houses. I really liked was Michael McCurran, who is a traditional story talking about grey marble, memories, the hallowed halls. It's not a celebration of death, but it is a recognition of those that have given their lives. And it's our way of remembering. And these two guardian lines that you can see either side of the entrance here, given to us by Belgians, they call the Melon Gate, and were really very badly damaged during fighting, and said that they've been beautifully restored. And it's quite right that they are our guardian figures. This is a really important sign with the cloisters around the outside and the reflective pool in the centre. Now over the years this has had different formats, and at times it's been far less formal than you see it now, but always it's had these cloisters with the names of the battles that we have been fighting in. So you see them all the way around to Vietnam here at the end. First World War, Second World War. And behind it you see the clocks, which we'll go up and look at. And these are all the lives that have been lost. And on a very beautiful still day, you see the faces actually reflected here in the pool of remembrance. And down the far end of the pool of remembrance, you see the eternal flame. Everlasting life. And so that is really important. Now if we look here, we see the red and the white clouds, red and white together for death. At the far end, you see the rosemary bushes. Rosemary signifies remembrance and the importance of that. And these wonderful, I call them gargoyles, but these heads that you see around edge here, carved by a sculpture from this area called Bowles, and if you look at them, they are the heads of different Australian children. And you see down the far end are in fact the heads of our Indigenous people. And so 1941 is really serious how bad. And we'll talk about that a little more as we go on to the other house. But let's go up and have a look. See the Brindabella Hills over there. In winter time they're all covered with snow. And so we're just 2 hours away from the snow fields. And that was the whole reason why this site was chosen for the city of Canberra, was that it was in this natural hollow, surrounded by hills, and part of the Waterbury Griffin plan was that in fact the hilltops were all left bare with natural habitation on them. There was to be no building above a certain level, so that you still read this beautiful basin that we're in. Of course we look straight down there. White building in the front is the temporary Parliament House, opened in 1927. And behind it is the new Parliament House. And you can see how they're both of the same dimension. So from this sort of distance, they actually read almost as one building. There's a huge expanse of land between them actually, but it was always part of the design that they were the same width, and that the new Parliament House sits on the top of Capitol Hill there with the flagpole up above the skyline. Just to talk about the stands here in front of us, because coming up to Anzac Day clearly is one of the, it is the most important day in the War Memorial's history as it comes up, but you will find Anzac Parade is covered with marches, and if they've done their march past and presented their coat of arms, the different battalions will cover and be seated in these stands that we see directly in front of us. The ones in the view just below us down here are all for the visitors and things that are connected with the memorial on the day. And I really hope plainly explain to you, and most of you understand, Anzac, Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, and it is significant of the two countries fighting together, and the friendship between those two countries, the connection is what it's all about. And they are our greatest allies, and the respect that we have for them. Now, normally I would go down, we'd do the First World War galleries first, but today, because of the other group there, we're going to start with the most recent battles that Australia experienced. This was considered to be the end of the Second World War, and all these panels here. Now, everybody that has been lost is named and listed here. They're not given any rank, it's just their name and the battalion that they belong to, or the ship that they're on in the case of the Navy and things like that. They're not given any rank, any notification of their medals or anything else. It is just everybody who has been lost is recognised here. And that was considered that it was going to be the end. But in fact, we did go into battle again with Korea, with Vietnam, with Somalia, Afghanistan, where we still have people fighting, and Iraq. And we're going to refer to that a bit more with some of the medals that have been won and some of the battles of those two countries. So, where does the memorial go next? And I think the decision is that the park's going to be on the inside of the cloisters. We'd love to stop, we'd love to think that was the end of it, but it's not so. Now, we are very busy today, so I'll ask you to pass this on. At the end of the Second World War, and it was shot by a German submarine, a cormorant, also was lost in both ships, and there are over 200 people on the Sydney, all lives lost. The wreck was never found. It was off the coast of Western Australia, and it is only in the last 18 months the wreck of that ship was found. And this is because of those new depth charges and all the electronic material, all the electronic equipment, that has been upgraded, now it can get deeper and deeper. And we possibly will have time to have a look at the back that's shown more downstairs. But isn't it amazing that just so recently, within the last 18 months, all lives were lost on board, all bodies went down with the ship, and the terrible disaster. So it makes us realise that the war is still open, we're still, we're anyway, let's come over with his parachute over his back and all these equipment marking here. We have the Navy over representing the other side.
that we even got a capital city, Canberra. Canberra, of course, came about in 1908, and Burley Griffin named this area Parks and built Parliament House specifically on the land called Parks for him. This is Questacon to the right hand side. It's a bit of a science fun park, mainly for kids, although I had lots of fun in there. If you're a giant kid, you can have fun too. We're about to cross Reconciliation Place just here. This is to represent the Indigenous art in Canberra, and just a memorial really sort of representing the Indigenous side. A lot of the art is very weird, one could say, but there's a good story behind each piece. It goes all the way through to the National Gallery where we're going. So we're going to make our way back down to the lake and across the waterfront. All of the trees that line up along the lake are all cherry blossoms, and they go spectacular in flower in the springtime. And it looks like they have beautiful colours now. Gee, these are amazing trees. When you're coming down here in spring, the wind blows through and blows a gentle trickle of the little blossoms off the trees, and it looks like it's snowing on you. It's quite amazing. So it's all very well thought out. Flags of all nations here, folks, from A to Z. This is Z down this end. I think that's Zimbabwe last on the end there. So every country is represented here, or most countries anyway. Straight up in the middle of the water there is Aspen Island, and that is the Carillion. Can you see that about 11 o'clock there, folks? It's a big bell tower, the Carillion. It was a gift from the British government for 50 years of Canberra being the capital city. And each time we have a special event, people donate new bells for it. It's got about 101 bells now, I believe, are in there. Have a look to the right hand side. As we go through here, you can see Parliament House, and then look directly to the left and you've got the axes straight through the middle. Very well done. Canberra is also extremely clean. Everything is so well set out and so well maintained as well. It really does work, and it's just a nice place to be. You feel like nobody's thrown litter anywhere, apart from that chip packet together. This is the High Court here, folks, on the right hand side. Now, it's quite a stunning building for a High Court. If you have a look through the open windows in the front, you'll see that there is a huge arch in the middle. Not really sure if it suits being a High Court. It could be a more spectacular building, but there you go, you can see right through the middle there. And we are just round the corner from our next stop, the National Gallery. Carolyn's going to tell you all about that in there. The only thing I'm going to say about it is that yes, there's some brilliant art in there. There's also some extremely weird stuff. The simplistic art. Look out for that one.
Boo.
There is a white painting on the wall with a grey line through it. There's a big blob of goo in the middle. Have a look at that one and tell me what you think when you come back out. So it's you make up your own mind. There is some spectacular things in here as well that really are mind-boggling. This ball out in the middle, I forget what that is to represent. Carolyn, can you remind me on that?
It's a globe to represent the world, and it was done by a New Zealand artist. And it's the second one we've had because the first one actually got hit by lightning. And he wouldn't repeat it, but look at the colours in it. It just glows.
Alright, I'll just drive underneath here and park us up on the other side. So folks, let me know what you think the big white blob looks like when you come back out. I'll be interested. Thank you. Okay, each time a new Prime Minister comes to power, they get to choose the artist who paints them. They'll have a portrait done. It'll sit in Parliament House, I think, for 4 years, is it, Carolyn, or 8?
Oh, no, it's got a rotation in the time of office and things like that.
Well, anyway, they rotate through Parliament House into the portrait gallery there. We're coming up on Old Parliament House. This is the big white building. Now, a lot of people say this looks bigger than New Parliament House. Well, that's because this is all above ground, but New Parliament House is much, much larger than this one. This was always built as a temporary parliament. This building was completed in 1927. The first Prime Minister to reign here was Sir Stanley Bruce. Our first Prime Minister of Australia was Sir Edmund Barton, and now we have our first female Prime Minister, Julia Gillard. This is quite a stunning looking building. It's beautiful and white, and surrounded by Senate gardens on each side of it. And the building still serves quite a few purposes. There's lots of school groups go in here to learn the Commonwealth system of Parliament that we have, the electoral roll on the other side. This is the Tent Embassy down to the right here. Some people might call it an eyesore, but it has been here, and it is the Indigenous people or the Aboriginals' way of putting their stamp onto Australia's capital territory. They've been there for quite a while now, over 10 years, would you say, Carolyn?
Oh, more, nearly 20.
Oh, right. This is King George the Fifth.
Yep.
He was, of course, the last king, since we've had queens.